popular notion of what it's like to teach in urban America is dominated by two extremes. On the one hand are horror stories, fueled by media reports that portray schools in chaos, incompetent administrators, hallways that are more dangerous than alleyways, students who lack even the most basic skills, and parents who are uneducated and unconcerned. On the other hand is the occasional account of a miracle worker, that amazing super teacher slash savior who takes a ragtag group of city kids and turns their lives around overnight. Somewhere in between these two, between the miracles and the metal detectors, is where I teach. The stories in this book span roughly my first 7 years in Chicago's public schools, a year at the Ralph Ellison Educational and Vocational Guidance Center, where I taught 7th and 8th grade reading, and the remainder at Quincy Elementary, where I spent 2 years teaching language arts to small pull-out groups, and then began a media studies slash video production course. What you will find here is not a day-to-day chronological account so much as a collection of vignettes, stories that in some way shed light on the education of a teacher. But mine isn't the only voice you'll hear in these stories. If there is any group who is silenced more than teachers in the national dialogue about education, it's the people our schools are supposed to be benefiting in the first place, the kids. In classrooms too, young people often go unheard, and as a teacher I've wrestled constantly with trying to find ways to combat this silencing, to allow space for my students to speak their minds, tell their stories, raise their voices. So I've tried to do that here as well. During the past 2 years, I caught up with some of my former students, a couple of whom are now young adults, and talked with them about their lives and struggles both inside and outside of school. I tape recorded my conversations with them, usually 1 or 2 sessions of about 2 hours each, then transcribed their comments. Each of the book's chapters is followed by one of these first-person reflections. For the sake of narrative flow, I have removed my questions and edited portions of the kids' responses. I've made every effort to retain original wording and to be true to what I thought each person was trying to say. In that much, at least, I hope I have been successful. The kids whose lives and words grace these pages, like all of the kids I've taught, are much more than at-risk youth, more than simple products of a volatile neighborhood or chaotic school system. They are bright, beautiful, fragile, flawed, courageous, and incredibly resilient young people. Kids whose voices ring out with passion and genius, frustration and regret, rage and pain, and most of all, hope and possibility. There are kids who are too often shouted down or ignored. They have a lot to say. Holler if you hear.